Welcome to Digital Hospitality presented by US Foods. My name is Sean Walchef, founder of Cali BBQ Media. Our mission with this show, our mission with this podcast is to help business owners understand what is digital hospitality. Digital hospitality is every business needs to be digital first, and every business needs to be in the hospitality business. Now, if you're in the restaurant business, we have a competitive advantage because we have hospitality in our DNA. So you have a competitive advantage. The restaurant owners, there are a lot of things that we are learning how to do better, leveraging technology in today's day and age in 2022 to figure out how do we reach more people. Every restaurant, you have to take care of your village. Every business, you have to take care of your village, but you also have to use all the tools that are available in the smartphone. And that's what we do on this show. Today, we have some very special guests from the OB BBQ House in Ocean Beach, San Diego. We have Melvin Atallah and Davin Atallah. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Right on. Thanks for having us.
Dude, so happy to have you guys on. I mean, one of the coolest things about this show is I get to talk to entrepreneurs, business owners, and people that are out there playing the game within the game. You guys have been in business since 1991. Yeah. So obviously you've figured out something about sustainability. You can't be in this business for that long. You can't be in the restaurant business. You can't serve a community unless you guys have found the formula. Can you tell the people that are listening just a little bit about how it all started?
So BBQ House, when we started in 91, my father, he had a business partner at first. The guy was like a doctor who didn't care about the restaurant, but my dad was there day to day handling the operations. And after like 5 years, it's still, it was a struggle. Like you said, it's one of the hardest businesses to keep afloat. You got to figure out, how to get the word out and how to spread to everybody. Yeah. So there was a day when the doctor wanted to sell, and my dad, he knew there was something special about the BBQ House. So he figured it out. He got all his money together, borrowed some, and bought out the doctor. Now, a couple months later, we were on a TV show called The Unknown Eater, and
Channel 8 News.
And
Very
that
cool.
really gave us a buzz. It had a line going out the door the next day because at the time it was a big show. There was a lot of followers for that show. So he kind of gave us the push start that we needed.
Yep.
And then we took it from there. We just kept growing. At that time, mind you, we had seating for 6 people inside of the restaurant.
Wow.
It was a true hole in the wall.
Yeah.
And also, mind you, that back then, there weren't as many barbecue spots also back in 91.
Yeah.
This is
there was probably a handful in San Diego at that time, So our dad, he saw the potential and he saw that, this has a future,
It's huge. Guys were pioneering back in the day. How old were you guys when you opened up? Were you working in the business?
I was 13 when it was the first day we opened. It was in May 1991. I skipped
11.
School that day, I remember.
Like a good son.
The funny thing is that the first night, back then we didn't have all these controlled smokers with the temperature and the gas,
old school smoker.
Our old school smoker was built, my dad built it out of a stainless steel freezer.
Wow.
Yeah. So like the first night, my dad was really worried. We had charcoal wood and he didn't know, how hot it was going to get. It was going to burn the place down. So I remember we actually spent the night in the restaurant the night before we opened. And I made it a point, like, I'm not going to school the next day, Dad. I'm staying. And my mom was like, no, you're going to school. But my dad said, you know what? Go ahead. Let him stay. We stayed. And I remember that really, really vivid. It was cool. But that was the first day.
So did you start by working on the weekends? Both of you? How did you both grow up? Because I grew up in my family business, and that was the restaurant business. I was actually 14 years old when I was bussing tables and washing dishes at our breakfast restaurant. And I told my grandfather and grandmother, like, I do not want to do this. Like, I was the only one in my high school that was out every weekend driving out to Spring Valley to bus tables and to wash dishes.
Right. I actually I learned at about 14 years old how to ride the bus, the public transportation. And I mean, I would say at least 3 days out of the week, besides the weekends, I would after school end up getting on the bus, hitting up the trolley, getting to OB. I just had to make my way there, you know, because after we close, I'd catch a ride with Pops, you know, home.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I was 13, at least, you know, 4 days a week helping my dad out, you know.
Wow. And how about you?
I was 10 or 11, so I wasn't helping out at first. I would go to the arcade across the street and ask my dad for a few bucks. You know, I'll just mess around, have some fun. But after a couple of years of that, now I'm like 13, and my dad actually needs a little more help.
You're of age. You're of age at 13.
Yep.
You know, I remember. I don't know if you started at this, but I used to work the whole day and make $5.
Yeah.
That's
the whole day.
That's how much we used to make.
Well, like I would help out as much as I can. Mind you, at that time, sales were probably $300-400 in the whole day also.
For sure. For sure.
We're trying to get by, but it was definitely a family operation. My sister worked there, my cousins, we had a few cousins that worked with us, and we kept it tight, but that's how we grew.
It's always been owner operated, hands-on, even till today.
Yeah.
So for 30 years, we've been there. You know, I mean, the place is not going to run as smoothly as you want it unless you're there. You know, you're given the love, you're given the authenticity of your product, you know.
Can you guys talk about Ocean Beach, you know, the community? Because we have people that listen to this show all over the world, and it doesn't matter where your restaurant is or your business is. You know, it's so important to take care of your village, to take care of your community. What does Ocean Beach mean to your guys' family?
It's our second home. Since we have been our whole lives, you know, having the restaurant in Ocean Beach, it's always been a second home to us. Sometimes it feels like the primary residence, honestly.
Probably spend more time there than at home.
But Ocean Beach is such a cool community. Yeah. The vibe there, ever since back in the day, has always been so relaxed, so chill. People don't judge. And it's kind of like what do you call it? A circle pot or whatever, from people all over the world. They end up in Ocean Beach because they hear about this cool community. And once people, and even people who don't know about the community, once they make it to OB and they catch the vibe, a lot of them never make it out. They just, they don't want to leave. It's a really
real close community in OB. And everybody knows each other.
Sunset Cliffs is huge. Really nice views, breathtaking views, bunch of parking lots that you could park in, and a lot of nice jogging areas, like just a lot to do, and it's beautiful. We love OB.
Do you remember growing up when you went from working there part-time to going, I'm going to go all in and I'm going to help dad, and this is what I'm going to do?
We didn't have a choice. From day one, it was all in.
You've been chosen.
Chosen.
Barbecue is in your blood forever.
The barbecue house chose us.
Yes,
we didn't choose the barbecue house, but we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
We grew into it.
You know, seriously. I don't think we'd have it any other way.
It's an amazing feeling being there and hearing the feedback from the guests, you know, how much they love the food, and seeing people return. It really fills our hearts. You know, it's a special place for us. It's not just a restaurant. It's not just our source of income. It's really, our hearts are in this place.
You know, also it's the true definition of an American dream. From where our parents came from. You know, they came, you know, from the Middle East. We're Middle Eastern. Mm-hmm. And so we didn't have nothing when we came in. You know, we were struggling, and my dad started this business from scratch, 1991. So I think it's a lot of pride also for us to continue our father's legacy at the same time, you know. Like I said, it's a true American dream. And I mean, you've been in business for 30 years, you know, restaurants come and go.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're lucky to make it 1 year, let alone 31.
Exactly. So for 30 years, we've got to be doing something right. And, you know, mind you, this is also like we've never been big on social media. You know, our main advertisement all this time is like word to mouth.
Yep.
You know, and that's how we've gotten to where we are today.
Best advertising.
You know, but now me and my brother, you know, we about 8 years ago we did the remodel.
Yep.
Pretty much retired our father.
How did he take that?
He still has it today. What are you talking about?
He's retired, but he shows up every day.
Every single day. He's still
He clocks in every day.
He comes, cracks the whip.
Yeah.
Watching the cameras.
Of course.
He helps out with a lot of the back end stuff too.
Yeah.
But he's not on the front lines anymore. And that's still really good for sure. He put in his time. And then when we did our remodel, we doubled in size. So that original location we were talking about had seating for 6, right? That was a 10-year lease. After being there for 12 years, we got kicked out because someone knew about the building. We lost our lease. This place called Wings came in and bought this monumental historical theater that we used to be a little part of. It was called the Strand Theater in Ocean Beach, the Strand.
Yep.
You could see 2 movies for $2.99.
Wow.
At that time, 2 movies.
Matinee.
Double matinee for $2.99. Yeah. It's not very profitable business.
Before we left that place, we did have a spot in Mission Beach right by the roller coaster. Belmont Park. So we had a spot going. We had 2 locations going for a year or 2. And when we lost the Ocean Beach one, we were devastated because that's where we started. That's where our heart was. Mission Beach was cool, but we just didn't feel the same there. And we couldn't come back to Ocean Beach. We couldn't afford it. But when we found a location it was like closer to the ocean than the old one. It was bigger. It was everything we wanted. So we sold our Mission Beach location and put all that money into coming back to our home.
Just to go back to OB.
Wow.
We couldn't have it any other way. If we had to choose one or the other, we had to stay in OB.
Yep.
And then that location we ran for almost 15 years before we got a liquor license finally. We had a beer and wine, but we got a liquor license, but we had no room for a bar. So we leased the place next door, blew out the wall, but we did a major renovation. I'm talking nothing existing stayed, like everything remodeled, the kitchen, the front of the house, that we created the bar. We put TVs everywhere. So now it's like a sports theme. And even though we're seasonal because we're by the beach, now I have football during the winter that brings people in and, you know, sports. We're just doing what we can to engage and keep people coming, give them a reason to come besides the amazing food. You know, give them another reason to be there and come during cold days, winter days. We got to keep it going, you know. Our community supports us, and Ocean Beach is a very tight community. We have a lot of locals and they all love us and support us. So we thank you for all that.
Absolutely.
That's what keeps us going.
OB love.
OB love. And then we have a lot of people that are not from OB that come down and support us too.
Well, I mean, OB is such an incredible,
San Diego.
It's such an incredible place to visit, and you guys are right on Newport, and you've done such a beautiful job with the renovations. I think, you know, for people that are listening, can you talk about the process of reinvesting back into your business? Because I think a lot of people, it's a scary thing to do. You know, when you've been doing it for as long as you've been doing it, it's kind of like doubling down.
It is. And it took a lot of loans to do that remodel.
Yep.
It kind of was like back to square one when my dad originally had started. Now we're in debt, like a major debt, which we're still in a little bit, but it's gotten a lot better, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, reinvesting is scary sometimes, but even till this day, even with us still being a little bit in debt from the original remodel, we're still making improvements here and there because we do know the importance. You want to put that money back into your business to improve your business, to improve the facade of it, to improve the atmosphere, you know, the ambiance and all that. Because these days, that's just as important as the food now.
Yep.
Everything has to look amazing too, because everyone's taking pictures of everything. So you want your presentation to be on point. And it's just, so yeah, we just recently, we invested in redoing our signage out front. Our awning was all rusted and like breaking. So we did that. We have the new streetery patio which looks really nice out front. It catches a lot of attention. It actually added 50 more seats to my restaurant.
Oh, wow.
That was an amazing addition. And
Huge.
it catches the eye when people drive by, because now we're on the street, on the sidewalk. Or on the street. And we have part of the sidewalk. It's a really big patio.
So a lot of people that listen to this show, we talk about relationships. Relationships are so important in business. And so many times people talk about their vendors and their vendor relationships. We say vendor partner, and we have primary partners. One of the difficult lessons that I learned early on running our barbecue restaurant in San Diego was understanding that I couldn't have my kitchen manager going to Restaurant Depot every single day. I couldn't have Cisco coming in every day, US Foods coming in, and having all these different partners going against each other. That was when I started reading magazines and articles about people having a primary food vendor relationship. And I remember working with US Foods, actually working with Brad from US Foods, and him saying, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a bunch of things that you wouldn't expect me to do. And he started helping our business. He literally started coming in to our manager meetings, I'd ask him questions. He would go back and do all kinds of work. And then after Brad left, we got Joe. Joe was absolutely incredible for us. And then we had Gabe. I know you guys work with US Foods. Can you talk to people that own businesses and talk about this relationship that a business owner can have with a partner like US Foods?
US Foods is actually a partner that has done a lot for us, and we do take advantage of that partnership a lot. And we suggest other restaurants do the same. For instance, we have had a couple times before where US Foods, we tell them, we feel like something that we're not doing right, maybe. So they send us a restaurant consultant. And sure enough, we learned a lot from these two consultants. So we had one, and then things were good. And then there was another time where we had more questions. So they sent us another one, and we learned a lot from these guys. We took advantage. It's something that's included with your US Food partnership.
Yep.
So why not take advantage of this stuff? I also have like someone coming in from US Food. He's going to help me out and send me a nutritionist that's going to help me figure out what's really gluten-free, we want to put symbols on the menu so we can have like all the nutrition facts, but professionally done, You
just want to make it easy for the consumer. Once they look at your menu, everything is detailed right then and there, because that's what people like these days, simplicity, and they want it to be easy. So, that's one of the tools that we're using is through US Foods to get that.
How did you learn to lean on your partners? Because one of the things that I teach restaurant owners and business owners is that it's hard to do too, as a man and an entrepreneur, as a business owner. Like, I don't want to sound stupid. I don't want to look stupid. I want to have all the answers. But as I got older, I realized I need to ask for help with things that I don't know. Right. And when I can reach out to US Foods, or I can reach out to Toast, my primary point of sale partner, or I can reach out to Ovation. Once I started learning, the more that I can ask of my partners, the more they can't read my mind. It's impossible. My wife can't even read my mind. I can't read my own mind. How did you guys learn how to lean on your partners?
Joe is an amazing rep. And before him, we had a rep who just retired not too long ago. His name was Ben Anderson. So shout out to Ben also.
A1 Ben.
He was our rep for literally over 30 years. Before my dad started the barbecue restaurant, he had like a family restaurant in La Mesa.
Wow.
Ben was our rep, and he became like family friend and was just amazing. So anytime he left companies, like for instance, we were with Cisco for a point in time. And it's because he was there with them. But then a majority of, the end of his career before he retired, a majority of that time was with US Foods. And I'll tell you, US Foods, when he was with Cisco, I don't think they offered all these things because they weren't doing anything extra. This partnership with US Foods, ever since he came over, we came over. And since he was so close to us, he would always be involved in, if he's seen us stressing, we don't know something, or you know what I mean, he'll be like, hey, I got restaurant consultant I can send to you. So it was stuff like that he would realize, and he would tell us what's available. And even like Toast, your partnership, Toast is available if you're a U.S. food partner.
Yep. Correct.
They'll give you half off of all your equipment.
Yep.
Which is amazing. And we're going to make that switch after finding out. We'll be probably switching over to Toast soon.
Amazing. Very cool.
And then Joe, Joe, he took over our account when Ben retired, and Joe's amazing too. And he's the one that's been doing a lot of stuff also. He's going to help us with some menu designing stuff that US Food offers for free, like just such good stuff that you would normally probably be paying a good chunk for.
Yep.
If you weren't doing it through US Food. So no, that's really good. They have all these things for the businesses, and please engage with your rep. All restaurants out there, engage with your rep, ask your rep, because a lot of the times they're not going to ask you depending
Correct.
on the relationship. So ask them.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Do not be afraid.
The only way you're going to know.
That's correct.
Ask questions, and there's nothing wrong with asking questions. For sure.
Well, it's it's interesting too, because I mean, you guys have been in business long enough to remember when your dad probably went through, counted everything in the restaurant, sat down with the US Foods rep, and the US Foods rep was the only person that could input that order into their proprietary software. Like now, literally, you guys can go on your US Foods account, order online, order whatever you want, and now instead of Joe or Brad or anybody coming to sit down to waste that time, now they can spend time on the things that we need. Exactly. We need to fix our menu. We need to fix our hospitality. We need to fix our digital. We need to fix our signboards. Now you can actually use these resources, and the best companies understand that, and they're leveraging their employees, the people that are smart enough, that have worked with enough restaurants, because all of these reps, they work with so many restaurants. They see restaurants that are failing. They see restaurants like you guys that have been in business for 30 years, and they go, hey, dude, these guys have figured it out. You should do what they're doing. And then they pass that information off. The best of the best, like you said, those are the ones that we trust, and those are the ones that we need to lean more on. Right. When you're thinking about what your dad taught you about running the business, we think about lessons and stories. Can you each of you give me a lesson that he taught you? If he was teaching a class on how to run a restaurant, what are the things that you're like, oh, my dad, like in the beginning when you're young, it's like my grandfather, he would tell me these things. I'm like, Grandpa, I got it. Don't worry about it. And then now he's passed, but I think about these things and I'm like, oh, he was right. Oh, he was right. I knew he was right. I shouldn't have argued with him.
Well, there's only one thing that comes to mind for me. And this is one thing that he always used to say: if I did it, it's for a reason.
If I did it, it's for a reason.
Yes. If I do it, it's for a reason. At the end of the day, it worked out. Yes. No matter how many times we doubted him or how many times, we would want to change this or that, he would set it up and make it. And he said, look, I did this for a reason, and it would work out. Yeah. That's just one thing that sticks out right off the bat.
You didn't always have to tell you the reason.
No,
no, definitely not. How about you, Melvin? What's something you can remember from him?
Just like as far as like handling money and stuff.
Sure.
Even if someone's short just a little bit, you want to make a big deal of it, because every little bit counts. Yep. Whenever we used to get orders in of certain things, meat, whatever, things like that, I wouldn't always check them in. I wouldn't always check the weights. And he would always tell me, no, you have to. This is business. Accountability. He taught me accountability. Like sometimes the weights are wrong on those boxes.
Yep.
The packer mislabeled something, and now you're getting shorted. And
you're paying for it.
So checking things in, accountability, making sure there are systems in place that minimize theft, minimize mistakes, not necessarily just that, but mistakes, because sometimes people don't know they're making these mistakes. But you always want to set some kind of a system in place to correct things and moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So can you guys tell me, how do you work so closely with your brother? And not kill each other.
He works during the day. I work at
night. two ships and then partying in the nighttime.
As I'm going in, he's leaving, and we're good.
That's how it works. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Oh, man.
What kind of advice would you give to somebody that's listening to this podcast? We have a lot of people that want to open up a business. What kind of advice would you give to somebody that's ready to jump off the cliff?
Some advice to someone who's getting into the business.
Who wants to open up a restaurant?
Oh, back up, man. Don't jump off that cliff.
Go
You got
find
some floaties. You got some floaties on.
If you're not in the business already, and if you have another skill set, the restaurant business is a tough one. I've seen it. I've had people open restaurants. I've seen it break them down. I've seen the breakdown where the owner's sitting there one day crying like, this is a tough business to run. And I can't say it hasn't happened to us in the past. I mean, it's been a long time, and the longer you do it, the more you get it down, you get the flow of things, and everything runs smoothly. But in the beginning, they do say, no matter how well you do in the first year or two, it doesn't matter if you can stay open. I think it's 4 years, then you're a successful restaurant. 4 or 5 years. Like, doesn't matter what's going on in the beginning, but you need to stay open for 4 or 5 years to be a successful restaurant. Don't get me wrong. If you have a passion for it, you have a good location, and you know what you're doing, by all means, open up a restaurant. But it is a tough business. And
you got to have patience also, and you've got to stay consistent.
Very
patience
important.
and consistency is one of the keys. I mean, you can't bring yourself down because you had one bad day or 2 bad days out of the week. Those are gonna come. I mean, it took our father, a good 8 to 10 years before the place actually, got recognized, by that News 8 guy, Unknown Eater. You just got to have patience, and you've got to be consistent. And nowadays, it's really about social media too. You've got to be all over social media. You've got to be, you've got to be there with everything.
Yep.
And with the consistency, hold your standards high. And teach your managers your standards very well, because they're the ones that are there when you're not there. Yep. I know he said earlier, it doesn't run the same when the owners are not there, which is always true in any business. But if your managers are trained correctly, then it can run, very smooth while you're not there. You got to make sure if somebody overcooks something, you don't let them send it out. You make them remake it, because that's going to make them want to not burn it in the future in a big rush, because they don't want to work twice as hard, double making everything.
One of the things we always tell our line cooks and chefs, if you wouldn't eat it, do not send it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Simple as that. It's as simple as that. If you wouldn't eat that meal that you're about to send out, why send it out? Why would you make one of our consumers eat that? You're
trying to have that customer's business not just today, but repetitive in the future.
It's building a relationship with your clientele. Business. Yeah, absolutely.
So we have people that listen all over the world. We're so fortunate. We're grateful that people tune into this show. If they come and visit San Diego and they go to the BBQ House in Ocean Beach, and they come and they go, Melvin, Davin, what do I get? What do I order? Tell me.
Barbecue burrito has been my recommendation.
It's our signature
for
item.
So long, because it's my favorite. Like my wife and her family, everybody we've introduced it to, it's different, It's got coleslaw, beans, your choice of brisket, pulled pork, jerk chicken, or pit ham, and barbecue sauce, all wrapped in a large buttered flour tortilla.
Yeah.
And it's just the crunch from the coleslaw with the sweetness from the baked beans, and just like everything goes so well together in there. So definitely that.
Can't go wrong with the ribs or the brisket or the pulled pork, also, but that's like one of our signature items that our dad came up with long time ago.
I still remember he said the most common plate sold is a barbecue sandwich with coleslaw and beans. It was the most common size.
Yep.
So he's like, if everybody loves that, let's throw it together in a wrap. And it just worked out great. It worked out great.
That works out phenomenal. So what's next for you guys? What are you trying to accomplish in 2022, 2023?
Right now we just have the one location.
Yep.
And it's been a long time, but I think coming up, we do want to look into opening another location.
Awesome.
Somewhere in San Diego, maybe a little more inland, so we
Yep.
can cater to a lot of our guests who don't want to make that drive all the time. But yeah, we need to branch out, open another location. It's kind of
Branding and branch out.
Branding and branch out.
I like the branding. I like the shirts and the hats.
Yeah, we've been working on branding a lot. My brother, he made these awesome tables with a big burned etched logo in them.
There you go.
We're trying to stamp our buns with our logo.
Nice.
So we're in the process of seeing what's the best way right now to do that. We're
And
trying to get our logo.
That goes to social media.
Yep.
Because
Correct.
People, when they're sitting down and they get a plate of food, what's the first thing people do these days?
Take out their
They got
phone.
their phone,
Yeah.
Yep.
and they take pictures and they take videos.
Don't touch it. Don't touch
You know,
it.
yeah, people,
Yep.
they won't even let you eat until they take a video or a picture of it.
It's absolutely
So,
right.
it's one of the ways of branding your brand. It's
Oh,
through
yeah.
social media, just like that.
And then are you guys doing third-party delivery?
Yes.
Yeah. With DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Easy Cater.
All three of those. Easy Cater, I do have an account, but the last I need to update my menu on there. So currently I have them shut that down.
Yep.
We got an order in not too long ago, and it was the wrong pricing. We had to raise our prices 3-4 months ago. We raised
Yep.
our prices.
Oh yeah, for sure. You have
It was
to.
a dramatic increase this time, but we
Absolutely.
had to. We had
Yeah.
to, like $2-3 on some items, and it's literally to keep us flowing, not to price gouge or to make a fortune off anybody.
Yep.
Everybody knows it's not just the meats, it's not just the food products, it's your napkins. It's deep fryer oil was $20, a big 5-gallon canister. Now it's 60, sometimes over 60. Everything has gone up so much. So
We have to keep up with it.
That's right.
yeah.
And I hope the consumers understand, if we want to stick around and keep feeding you, there's small changes that we have to make. And, that's one of them.
Absolutely.
You're involved in a couple ghost kitchens, right?
We are. We have 2 ghost kitchens, one in Barrio Logan and one in by San Diego State University off of El Cajon Boulevard. So for us, we're trying to figure out how do we get more barbecue to more people using the internet. So if somebody wants barbecue, how do we get it to them? And we're testing out ghost kitchens. We're getting ready to open up at Snapdragon Stadium, hopefully a couple breweries.
Nice, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, how much work we do at the pits to get ready for just the 4 walls of our restaurant.
Yeah.
So the idea is, how do we use catering and third-party delivery to get, more barbecue to more people? And I think
aspect to the business.
yeah, I think
catering.
all of us, anyone that's listening to this show, we just need to think about how do we run a more profitable, sustainable business. What you guys have done in 30 years is beyond impressive. I mean, it's a testament to your father. It's a testament to your mother. It's a testament to your entire family, everyone that's put their blood, sweat, and tears into the business and to the community that supported you. I mean, it is like people that I've had on the show. I very, very rarely have I had anybody that's, 2 decades into business. You guys are 3 decades into business. That's a long, long time.
One quick story, really quick, that
Please.
just happened to me actually recently. One of our customers walked up to the pass-through window that we had at the restaurant. I was on the line, and I recognized her, from back in the 90s, and she just was like, "Hey, how's your dad? How's your brother?" This, we chatted for a good couple minutes, and it was like the coolest thing because she brought her 18-year-old son in, and she's like, "I've been feeding him barbecue for the last 18 years." So
Amazing.
it was really cool to see, her and her kids, they've been supporting us for 30 years. I loved it. We love stuff like that.
That's so awesome.
It's so awesome. It's great. That's why we're in the business also, creating that relationship and, with your customers. Imagine, when you go to a restaurant and they all know you on a first name basis, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to go to those kind of spots,
And you guys are getting more active on social media, so you're going to be putting more content, more short form video, Instagram Reels, TikTok. Am I going to get a TikTok account? Why you don't laugh? Don't laugh. You're not the first guest that I've pushed to get a TikTok account.
So we did a few reels recently and realized how important they are, because
very important.
I got 300 likes, I got 10,000 views, you know, and that's what pushes things. So, and TikTok is important. So we will create that, and we'll we'll thank you.
Well, we're gonna put a link in the show notes, so you guys are gonna have your TikTok account. But once this episode goes live on Digital Hospitality, we'll put a link in the show notes so people can follow you.
Okay.
We've got an incredible community. We've got friends. If you guys are listening to this show on Wednesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we do a Clubhouse call. It's on the social app Clubhouse. It's an audio app, but we have restaurant owners, barbecue owners, sales professionals, marketing professionals all over the world that join us. So join us. We'll have you guys on once your episode drops. We'll have you come up on stage.
Nice.
You guys can answer questions from the crowd, but we'll put links in the show notes at BBQ House OB. How can people best get in touch with you guys if they have questions or want to come check out the business? Where's the business located? Give me an address.
It's in Ocean Beach. It's going to be 5025 Newport Avenue. That's San Diego, California, 92107. You can get a hold of us. Our email is bbqhouse92107@gmail. Feel free to email us any questions about catering, anything. On social media and on the Google, just type BBQ. So BBQ House OB, that's our Facebook, that's our Instagram, and the OB's there.
And TikTok.
One day we want that other location.
Yes,
so.
That's right. Well, we appreciate you guys, Melvin, Davin. You guys, seriously, it's such an honor. And I love what you guys are doing, what you guys are all about, the family. Big shout out to your dad and to your entire family for what you guys are doing for the community and the barbecue world. Congratulations. I can't wait to see what you build next. If you guys need anything from me, please hit me up anytime. And big shout out to US Foods. Thank you for coordinating another incredible family to have on the show and to share all the secrets of how do you stay in business and thrive in business. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you.